Right, hey, you fish freaks. Welcome to episode number 85 of the KFO show. Man, I'm excited. I've been waiting all day for this one. We have a sponsor, SoFlo. I'm excited.
Is that right? What do we got?
This is good. So this episode is brought to you by KBF, where KBF state challenges let anglers compete anytime, anywhere. These online CPR tournaments run at the state, the regional, and national levels. So no matter where you live, there's a challenge for you. I personally fish the monthly Ohio challenges, and I start in March. So if you're in Ohio, sign up, fish against me. I'd love to take your money. Just kidding.
There you go.
No, it's all good. Doesn't matter what state you're in. Go check those right now at kayakbassfishing.com. But tonight, I'm excited because we have tournament angler, content creator, Garrett Wade. Welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
What's up, guys? Good.
Garrett, glad to have you, man.
You guys just fished against each other recently.
Yeah, but we don't need to talk about that right away.
Right. Garrett wants to talk about it. I see a big check behind him. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. But Garrett, how you doing? You doing all right?
Yeah, doing good. I got my coffee so I can make it through. I drove home all day today, so.
Yeah, I've been watching some of your videos today, and when you go to tournaments, you're like, I'll drive halfway across the country for this one. I'll drive halfway across the country for this one. My goodness.
Yeah.
But look, for those of you listening in, if you're not listening in on a live, you will notice he's been doing this for a while. A lot of big checks behind him, and he just continues to fill that wall up. But before we get there, tell us a little bit about yourself. For those of you who may not know, you're a content creator. Sounds like you do that whenever you have time, or maybe not. I don't know. Is that something you're like, hey, you're putting the gas pedal through the floor?
Yeah.
You got a lot of things going on.
I'm gonna do better this year. Yeah, I'm gonna do better this year. Last year, I kind of got burnt out on a little bit. You know, you get the couple people that come up to you like, man, I really figured out where to fish on this spot because I watched your tournament. I'm like, crap, I gotta fish there again. You know, so like, you get to the point where that's not the only reason that you want to put out content. But last year would have been a good year for me to put it out though, because I had a top 4 at Gunnersville and caught them all on a topwater offshore. I mean, like I had some content that would have been stupid good, and I didn't record none of it. It's like I get GoPro problems, and like the first time it glitches, and I'm like, I'm not screwing with that. You know,
I'm the same exact way. I'm the same way.
Yeah, it's like I'm here to win some money. So
that's right.
I just get irritated.
Once I'm done.
I'm trying to like crawl up to the top of, in front of my kayak while it's out in the middle of open water and trying to fix the stupid thing. It's like, oh my goodness, always be recording. Because I know the second that I decide not to record, that's the moment something stupid like a bald eagle or comes and lands on the front of my kayak or something dumb like that. So I always try to fix it.
I literally yesterday we hung around Fish One More Day yesterday, and then I had a little bit of space left on my SD card, and apparently I had a little bit not enough because I caught like an 18 with like 15 minutes of daylight left, and I told it to stop recording and turn back on, and I thought it was recording, and this monster bass like busts 100 yards from me, and I was like, oh, that's a big fish over there. And then it does it again, and I was like, oh no, this one's getting caught. And I run over there, throw a little swim bait in there, catch the male, and I was like, oh crap. So I threw the swim bait in there, lost her, threw a Senko in there, and just like she nailed it, jacked her. She got tangled up in the pads. I'm like motoring over. It's like a 21.5 inch, like 6-7 pounder. And I'm like hollering because I'm like, this is the perfect way to end an episode. It's like it's getting dark. Last day in Florida, I catch like a 6-pounder. I'm like, this is my outro. And I get done and I look at the camera and there's just like a solid red light on it. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So yeah, always. I had to like do like a backup intro on my phone, holding the fish, not as cool, but
no, you don't get the jump, you don't get the hook set, you don't get the sunset, you don't get none of it.
Got stuck, and I was like, oh, that's the way it goes.
Content creation, always how it goes. Steph, where's your YouTube channel? What have you been doing this past week?
What have I been? I've been trying to catch fish. I'm at Kissimmee trying to find them on beds. What I've been
Good
doing.
luck.
And it was a
In the
struggle,
beds.
but
Like,
we'll get into that.
with him, like, I haven't heard you from a while. Yeah, he's like, since the last time I was on this podcast last week, I literally went to work, then I drove down, for the tournament, and I got home and I had soccer practice, and here I am again. I was like, man, you haven't stopped since you
Since the
left.
last podcast. I think I spent like 2 nights in my house, so I don't have anything updated. Everything's the same as it was last week.
You were hoping for a big check just to sit over your shoulder right there. I know what you were doing.
We got the check on the screen at least. It's just not in my window. So.
Wrong window thing.
I literally got home this afternoon and like started shuttling a couple of trophies out here, and my brother-in-law was here picking up his kid, and I'm like, podcast backgrounds are the most vain thing, as I'm like carrying trophies out the house to sit behind me.
You gotta know.
I love that you're just calling it out.
Like,
we all do
I'm
it.
Holding 2 giant trophies, I'm like, this is the most vain thing ever.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I got all these sponsors.
Well, that's what we all
make sure
do.
this is in there. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, what hat am I wearing tonight? You got to start thinking through all this stuff.
Hey, Garrett, at least we don't have our YouTube subscribers behind us.
Oh, that's next level vanity right there.
Maybe it's because we don't want to advertise that.
Right, yeah, we don't want people to know. Right?
Yeah.
So I know yours. It's 0. You haven't even started one yet.
Put mine out there, 0.
Don't act like you don't have this thing on order right now. I know you do.
I did tell you I'm going to get one.
Well, at least you can tap into some of his to get you started.
There you go. That's kind of the plan, right?
That's right. I think it'll be beneficial when it's in my background and it says like 0 across the board, or it says like 10. I don't know.
Like a ticker.
People will be like, I feel bad for this guy. Let me go to his channel.
Yeah. You'll get a ton of pity subs. 100%.
I'll take them all.
It only goes up by 100. And I remember starting out when I first started my YouTube channel 4 years ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, like you go a week and you get like 2 or 3. Like, this is friggin' brutal. And so it counts up by every 100. And so I don't know. Yeah. This thing was a pain in the butt to set up. I mean, a pain. They don't make it easy at all. It's meant for like Instagram, but it's like the only one out there that locks into the YouTube API. Or whatever they do funky over there. Anyways, we're way off track here. Let's get back to fish. No, it's good. I don't care. I mean, you shared a little bit of the story about your why you're wearing a duck hat on a fishing podcast. So you got to share the story now because it is fishing related.
Okay, yeah. I'll share it real quick. So this is a duck camp hat, which the listeners probably most of them probably heard of. I just found out about them this past summer. It's not a sponsorship deal or anything like that right now. I was on Orange Lake practicing for a state championship in Florida, and I saw this orange thing floating in the hydrilla, and I go over and pick it up, and it's this hat. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a cool hat. It was kind of dirty. I had to go wash it. I just threw it in the kayak, went home, washed it, or my wife did, one of us, and pulled it out. And I realized, for the people that are on YouTube looking at it live, I don't know if you can see it, but it has gator teeth punctures in a row on it. So a gator was out there carrying this thing around in its mouth. And that's how I got introduced to the Duck Camp brand.
There you go. I looked them up right before the show. I was like, oh, that's interesting. You wrote them. They have not wrote you back. So I need all y'all right now to go out there and be like, hey, Duck Camp, write Seth Taylor back. Yeah. He's got a really great story for you. Oh my gosh. Duck Camp. There we go. Yeah, but there may be a sponsor of the show someday. So walk us through. Let's talk Havasu, because my buddy from like now 10, 15 minutes, he lives in Ravenna. It's not too close. It's Drew. He lives right next door to me. And so Ohio representation out there on Havasu. And so Garrett, I want you to walk me through that tournament. And for those of us who don't know a whole lot about the Bassmaster Kayak series, walk us through kind of that whole experience. There might be some of us who are like, hey, you know what? I really want to get into tournament kayak fishing, and there's a variety of them out there. That would be kind of going into the deep end really fast. But nonetheless, walk us through, like, how much does it cost? How are the rules? How is it different than a lot of the other tournaments? It looks like you fish a variety of different tournaments behind you. It's not just KBF. There's a variety of them back there.
Yeah. So when Bassmaster released their schedule this year, I saw Havasu and me. It was like, I'm not driving to Arizona. Like,
where do you live?
I talked to all my buddies. I'm in Alabama.
Okay.
So it's and I'm down in Mobile. So it's 25 hours to get to Havasu from my house. And I was kind of toying with the idea of fishing the whole trail. And then we talked about the family possibly going up to New York. And then I got to looking at Havasu, and I was like, honestly, I think y'all would probably enjoy this trip. And they're like, all right, well, maybe we'll go. So we kind of made a family deal out of it. And one of the kids' thing this year is they wanted to see snow, because we don't get snow down here. Like, we get a dusting every couple of years. That was like on their list. I'm like, oh, well, we can definitely catch some snow on the way there. I think like New Mexico has some snow or something.
Okay.
So long story short, there ends up being a snowstorm coming before we leave. And we're like, well, crap, we got to like head this thing off, or we're going to be driving through it in Dallas, and it's going to be like an ice storm. So we go up to Arkansas, spend a few days. We get like 8 inches of snow at the Airbnb in Arkansas. So they got their fill of snow. That was their first snow. My daughter's 17. She's never seen like any significant snow.
And then you get 8 inches? Dang.
We got 8 inches. And then from there we make the trip out to Havasu. I think we got there on, I want to say we got there on like Monday. So I had 3 or 4 days to practice. But
okay.
I've heard, so there's, I don't know if you've seen any of the YouTube videos from Havasu in winter. There's like literally only a couple of them, and it's literally a guy that's trying to catch 2 to 3 fish a day. It's pretty bad in January. So I kind of knew that going in, and we get there on day 1 of practice, and I pull up to some toolies, and I flip like a mag draft swim bait in there, and immediately catch a fish. And I was like, this is gonna be easy.
Oh, game on. Yeah.
I'm like, I can do this. Like, I've never fished that type of lake, but I'm like, you got like stuffs in here, and you're gonna hit a swim bait. Like, I got this. Messed around in the back and didn't catch anything. Went out to this long bar point and lost a like giant smallmouth, bit the swim bait and threw it out. And I was like, dude, like, okay, so I found fish back shallow and on the points. I'm like, this could be okay. And anyway, so I catch 3 fish that day. I'm feeling, all right, I think I got something figured out. Next day of practice, I catch like 3 fish. The next day of practice, I catch 2 fish, and I'm like,
ooh,
okay, so this is how this is going to be. I'm like, this is tough. And, I'm talking to people. I'm like, oh, man, we're just trying to figure out how to catch a fish. And I'm like, dude. So I had basically found a bunch of fish, not a bunch of fish. I found 3 fish every day, but they were on very easily defined like points out on the lake. I was catching them on like a red crankbait. So I'm like, okay, well, I've got all of these points marked. If I actually like don't screw around doing all this other stuff each day, surely I can put 5 in the boat. And no, that didn't happen. I caught 3 fish the first day of the tournament, and was sitting in like 28th place or something with 3 fish.
That's crazy.
How many anglers
brutal.
were that?
111
How many anglers were in it? Wow.
Yeah, there was 111. I think it was like 50 zeros.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that. Jeez.
Yeah, it was
50
was
skunks.
Bad. Yeah, so
I think a limit had you like in the top 10 or something, or close to it.
I think 11 people had a limit the first day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that bad.
So what were you fishing the first day that was picking them up for you?
I just went and hit those points. I started on one point I found in practice that I had like 2 smallmouth chase my crankbait up to the boat, and I was like, oh, okay, well, there's multiple fish here. And then switched colors and caught one. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to throw on this point again, because like I know there's multiples here. I'll just find another one. Yeah. So I found like 3 places that had fish, and most of them had multiples on it. So I was like, surely if I fish these things hard, I'll get my fish. And I started on that point that morning and caught one, right to start with, and it was a largemouth. And I was like, dude, you just done got lost. I hadn't caught a largemouth. I caught largemouth in the toolies, but I hadn't caught one like out on a main lake point yet. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I fished around a little bit more, and I caught another smallmouth. And then I lost one, and I was like, ooh, I can't be losing fish. And then I hit every one of my points and didn't get another bite until late that afternoon. I just went and found somewhere new. And like with 10 minutes left, I caught fish number 3. So yeah, it was just one of those. It was brutal.
What were the water temps when you were out there?
I want to say they were like 60.
Okay.
It wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
you know?
not terrible.
But it was cool enough that the fish weren't thinking about moving up. They weren't ready for that.
That's clear water too, right? Havasu has
super clear water, and like they had just had like a pretty big cold front, like an abnormal cold front for them.
Right.
And the temperatures were still a little lower than normal. And it was tough. And I mean, that's not my style of fishing. I mean, I've fished a handful of clear lakes ever. And I went out there and I turned on my GPS and I look at the map and I'm like, I guess my map card doesn't show anything out here. So like I had like the outline of the lake and that's all I had. So I'm like
East Coast or something. Yeah.
I had nothing. Yeah, I was like, well, this is going to be interesting. So yeah, literally I'm out there just, I knew how deep it was because I rode over it. I'm like, man, a map knowing like where that drop off is on that point would be nice. So
bummer.
I guess I'm spent all that money going out there and too cheap to buy a card. It's pretty bad.
That's funny.
$125 card.
I know,
27 hours of driving.
$900.
I'm going to save money there.
And I'm like, I'm not buying a $75 chip card.
I think you can map your own contours, right? So you could just roam around.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. Maybe I didn't have a card in there or something. So I was like, I kept hitting I know I hit the Genesis button. I'm like, I'll just map it. I'm like, this isn't working. Well, I guess I won't. That was my plan. Yeah, I was just like, well, I'll just map my own map, and that didn't work out either. But
how big is this lake?
I mean, it's a decent sized lake.
Okay. I mean, were you running into other kayak anglers or?
Oh, yeah, and see that was part of my problem.
Okay.
Was because I had the family there, I decided to kind of stay close to the Airbnb so that my wife could drop me off and she could just have the truck. And she's probably watching this and is going to get mad that I'm blaming her on it. And I'm not blaming her.
You lost this tournament. Yeah, the reason it's not a first place and a fifth place is definitely because of your wife. She's walking over.
Definitely because
right
of that.
now.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm gonna get beat up here in a minute, right here on camera. But no, that was kind of my own a little bit laziness because like I wanted to go check out the river, but it was like an hour away, and I was like, there's plenty of stuff right here. And the problem is like there was only 2 free ramps on like the whole lake, and one of them was right there by the Airbnb. So of course, everybody went to the free ramp. So there was probably 40 people of the 111 fishing that one 4-mile stretch of bank. So I think all of the obvious easy fish probably just got some pressure over 4 or 5 days of practice, and by then there just wasn't that many to pick off here and there. But we at that first night, my wife's like, it's gonna snow in Mobile, right? And I was like, I took you to snow in Arkansas. I'm like, yeah, but if we miss this historic snow in Alabama, like we're gonna be kind of upset. So like we really need to make it home. And like it was supposed to snow starting like Tuesday morning.
Okay.
And it's a 25-hour drive. And I'm like, I don't know exactly how we get back. And I was like, I tell you what, if by lunchtime I don't have any fish, we'll pack it up and we'll start heading back Sunday afternoon. So
packing up early?
Yeah, I never do that. Like that's not my thing. But I knew that like
I know 5 hours to pack it up early.
It ain't worth it.
I didn't want to get stuck in like Texas or something for 3 days waiting for the roads to thaw. So
all right.
we kind of had to beat back the storm. So anyway, 12 o'clock hits, I get a phone call and she's like, so you ready? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, how long you be back? And I'm like, well, I ran 5 miles up the lake, so I got about an hour. So why'd you go so far? I'm like, well, I caught fish up there earlier and I wanted to see if they were still there. So anyway, I got back, we got loaded up, put in like 9.5 hours that night and the next 16 the next day, and woke up to snow falling on Tuesday, and we got 8 inches of snow down here, which was like the all-time record. Yeah, they got like 8 inches of snow over in Pensacola, all over to Panama City. They all got snow. It was wild. They shut down our schools on Tuesday, and the kids didn't go back to school until the following Monday.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff that was coming through here. They were like shutting down schools like for 2 days in a row.
Yeah, it was wild.
Like, I've never done that before. That's so bizarre.
Right. Yeah.
It was I got a question. you're talking about free ramps and how there's 40 people at this like 2 free ramp. How much does it cost to get on a pay ramp? Because the tournament
So
entry
this is
not
one
the
of those
cheapest
lakes
thing in the world.
Yeah, this is one of those lakes. It's like 15 to 20 bucks at every ramp.
Eh,
So it's just it's
pretty significant.
yeah, we get kind of cheap when it comes to like ramp fees. It's like $3, $5. I can handle that. You tell me it's like 20 bucks. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
I'll
kind of
go way
stupid.
over here with the other 40 guys.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll go fish the same point with 40 other kayaking.
Yeah,
Forget the $250 fee I paid to be a part of it.
I got
you think, especially in practice, you don't know if there's fish there. So you pay $20, you drop in $20, you don't catch anything, you're out $20. You're like, well, that's
times 5.
You know?
It adds up over the week, and you end up spending a little extra money. But no, I mean, honestly, that was kind of the best area. I did pay for a launch fee once and went up kind of to the south end of the river. I never went and like did the actual river float. I'm not a river guy, so it would have done me no good to go float the river. I see clear water and I'm like, I don't see any fish. They must not be any fish here.
Yeah, right.
If I can see the bottom, there's no fish. I'm like, I gotta go fish somewhere else.
What you were doing, how different was it than what the winner did? Right, I think it was Drew Gregory that won that, right? So how far off from the pattern and everything were you from what he did?
So Drew went up the river and he floated the river.
Of course.
I fished the main lake. Yeah, I mean, Drew does what Drew does. Yeah. So he went and floated the river. And I mean, I'm not telling anything that wasn't, what he said on live or whatever, but he stumbled on like a whole school of smallmouth in this one spot, like floating the river.
Mm-hmm.
And then went back the next morning and caught 4 off of that one school one. And they're literally, he's got a video of like 10 giant smallmouth like chasing his bait back to the kayak. So,
found him.
He probably would have caught him otherwise, but he definitely was fortunate to find something like that. Like I didn't find nothing like that. I found points that had fish on them, but by the time Saturday rolled around, those fish were like, dude, we have been pinged by every active target on this boat, like on this lake. Like we're done. Like this, and everybody is out there just like scooping around with a Ned rig, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'll get out here and I'll throw my crankbait. I'm not getting out here and sitting down a Ned rigging, So
you don't use anything other than your mag draft or your crank?
There?
Pick them up for you? Yeah, at Havasu?
Well, no, I caught every fish on a crankbait that week, except for 2 on it was a loaded swim bait. It was the Bass Mafia.
Okay.
But, yeah. I mean, I threw some other stuff and I never got bit. He caught his on a swim bait.
He was also picking them up on Gobius. Z-Man Gobius.
Yeah, well, that's the little Gobius swim bait.
Yeah, those things are.
Yeah, the little small one.
I need to find me some of those. It sounds like fun.
He used those previously, I think. Was that the Classic or somewhere he used the
possibly?
Gobi?
I think they're still kind of under wraps then at some point.
Yeah,
because it seemed like it said something he was using something that they were working on.
Yeah.
So
like, Gobi. That's one thing I never would
got the juice.
I would never even think to purchase that. Like it's not even in my.
We don't have Gobies in Alabama, so
I'm
not throwing a Gobi.
Yeah, that's right.
So did you get a chance to talk? Did you get a chance to talk to anybody that landed it in the top 10? And like, were they doing it? Were they all up the river, or what was some of the patterns out there?
No, I don't. I talked to Cayman Rasmussen a little bit, and I think he caught his fish on a little bit of everything. He's throwing like a little small like ball head jig, swim bait, and I think he caught some on jerk bait. He found somewhere that had some bait. I'm not sure exactly what part of the lake he was on, but I ran into several people, and on my way out, and I was like, "Well, I've only caught 3 fish, each day," and they're like, "You caught 3 fish every day? I hadn't caught a fish in 5 days," and I'm like,
"Oh gosh,
oh my gosh!" I was like, "No, I mean I'm catching fish here and there, but like
you're working for them."
I was working for them, yeah. But I tell you that the lake is cool. I mean, I don't know if you have looked into the lake and all, but like they've got the original London Bridge, which is pretty Yeah, so like the original London Bridge, I guess it was sinking over in London. So they're like, well, we got to do something with this thing. So they ended up selling it to the guy who incorporated or whatever Lake Havasu City.
Okay.
And he bought the bridge, had it dismantled, shipped over, and rebuilt. And then when he had it rebuilt, he dug that canal that goes under it. So like that wasn't an original feature of the lake. They added that whole canal that goes through Lake Havasu City right there.
Okay.
That is unique.
I can only imagine the shipping costs on that.
I think it was like $2 million. There's like a whole write up on it. Tells you like how much. Of course, it was like the 1950s or 60s.
Yeah, I can only imagine what that would be like today's.
So it's a lot more now. Yeah, obviously. But yeah, I want to say like all in was like maybe like $13 million or something to buy it, dismantle it, ship it, and rebuild it, or something like that.
Oh, I wish I had bridge money. That'd be amazing.
Right? Yeah.
Just like, your bridge is sinking. I'll buy it. No, would you ship it across?
Bridge.
Yeah, ship it across the pond. Just add it
starting
to my
a city
over
here. We need a bridge.
Yeah.
I bet people will come if we have a historic bridge. But no, I mean it's cool. Like the light posts on the bridge are made out of like cannons from a ship like that they got from Napoleon or something. It's like all kinds of wild stuff. It's pretty cool. So
I got bridge money, I got cannon money, just whatever.
Yeah.
Just buy it all.
Yeah.
I look at it, I want it, you ship it to me.
Yeah. So needless to say, we had to go get some fish and chips under the bridge while we were there.
There you go. I didn't even know this story. After the show, I'm now going to go over and do some research. And as I'm editing it late into the night, I will go and check this out. I need to know the story. So hindsight, of course, 2020. Would you have done it knowing what you done? Was it worth it to be out there and get on a lake that I assume you never been on before?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm obviously I would have liked to have done well. I mean, it would have been maybe an easy time to get some points. But no, it was just for the adventure on this one. I mean, we like to travel, and it's somewhere we hadn't been, so we, had us a little mini vacay.
Yeah, I saw your vlog. I mean, you made a homemade sled out of cardboard. I saw 8 inches of snow on your kayak. It looked like you had a good time. Is the vlog something that you're doing as a content creator, like just testing it out?
So
or more like family
I'm testing
videos?
it out. No, it's just something I'm gonna try to test out on the tournaments. Is doing like more of a practice vlog. Try to do something more, Scott Martin style on his practice videos and stuff.
Yeah,
where it shows more than just the fishing. So we'll see how it goes.
So I expect like a 2.5 hour YouTube video to come out of it as well. A full series.
Yeah, need a movie.
Right.
The Scott Martin style.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's like every one's got to have a 2.5 hour movie when you're done.
Yeah. Original film by Garrett Wade.
Original film. Hey, those thumbnails are like I've seen them individually, and I still want to go watch them because it's like, dude, that looks cool. Original film.
Yeah.
It's like there's something about it. You're like, oh, I want to watch that.
Yeah, that's a cool movie. I'd watch that movie.
Yeah, I'd watch that movie. I've already watched it in 3 episodes.
So Flo, any more questions before we move on from Havasu and kind of move to Kissimmee?
No, I didn't really know too much about Havasu. I mean, I'm in South Florida, so it's not even in my wheelhouse to potentially go out there. But that's cool. I didn't know any of the history. I knew it was a clear lake. I saw some of Drew Gregory's highlights a little bit with his goby and what he was catching, and it seemed like a tough event. Especially, I think I looked at day one and like a limit would get you near the top 10, and I'm like, man, that's crazy. It has to be tough.
If you could have limited both days, you'd have been top 10.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, that is a difficult fishery at the moment when you're doing that with that many people.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's awesome.
Now I want to go over to see the tournament and see how people landed. I wonder if there's anybody that skunked out the entire tournament. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. Oh,
gosh, that'd be brutal. That would be absolutely brutal.
That'd be rough.
I'm actually traveling out to Phoenix and fishing a lake on, I believe it's the northeast side, called Lake Saguaro, whatever you say, however you say it. And so I got a buddy out
named
there.
after the cactus.
Yes. And so I'll be fishing out in Arizona here next Friday morning. Yeah, next Friday or next Saturday morning. And so he was like, "Hey, I got like $1 billion when it comes to Bass Pro shops and the other shops they have. Like, just send me a list of all the lures you want me to get, because I'm a little hesitant on packing them into my carry-on, even though I think they're allowed as long as you're not like massive." And so I sent him a list this morning of all the fun baits that we're gonna try out. So we'll see. Sofo, you be I got a couple stunnas in that order. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
We'll see.
There you go.
We'll see. So I'll give you guys an update when I get back from that, but I'm all bank fishing.
Phoenix bass. Arizona bass. I've never caught a bass west of Texas.
I've never caught a bass in Arizona either, actually.
Okay.
Every one of mine came from California.
There you go.
The lake is like the state line, so all of the fish that I caught were on the California side. So okay. I still haven't caught a bass in Arizona.
Huh. Chad's saying they're not allowed on your carry-on. You can check them, but you can't carry on hooks. And it's so interesting because
that makes sense.
I've heard that, and then I've also read things earlier today about how as long as they're not like deep sea fishing hooks, but it's really at the discretion of the TSA agent at the moment. And so unless you want to lose them all, and that would be an expensive go when you start wrapping up some nice jerk baits and crankbaits, probably better off to just bring the soft plastics and get your hooks while you're there. So I'll say I think I'm going to test it. I'll take a few, and we'll see if the TSA agent, and I'll give you guys a report on when I get back and see if they actually take them or if they let them slide. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Before we hop into Kissimmee and that 5th place trophy you got behind you and some hardware, I see this shirt that you're wearing. It says Yak Fin, and I've noticed in the past couple of weeks there's been Yak Fin advertisements all over my socials. Like, what is Yak Fin? What is it about? And then I didn't realize until you hopped on the show that you told me a few weeks ago when I asked you to be on the show. You're like, "Hey, I'm starting a new apparel line called Yak Fin," and I had this moment about 40 minutes ago. So tell me what it's about. Obviously, you're putting some money into it. What's the inspiration?
Trying to figure out a way to make some money out of this business.
Welcome to the party.
You don't make it all winning tournaments, so you gotta
lose it all making tournaments.
Yeah. But no, it's been something I've wanted to do for a long time, and we've been toying around with names and all kinds of stuff, and we finally settled on Yak Fin. And it just seemed like there wasn't an apparel brand that was specifically for kayak fishermen. Chad Hoover's got his kayak bass fishing apparel, but not something for just kayak fishing in general that's like, hey, I kayak fish. So it's kind of a niche market, but not so small, that I thought, it might work out. But if you can see the logo, it's got a guy standing on a kayak, cut out of the Yak Fin.
Yeah. If you're listening in, it's kind of silhouetted within the K. Got it.
Right. So starting out, we're doing the shirts in a couple of colors. We've got some hoodies and some hooded sun fishing shirts. So we'll start out with that, and then eventually I want to start doing like more of the like the Guy Harvey style full pictures. With some cool kayak scenes, with doing kind of promoting like different aspects of kayak fishing. So some saltwater stuff, some freshwater stuff, a little bit of everything for each to his own.
Okay.
You definitely do a shirt similar to Sixth Sense where they have the live scope picture. Definitely do that.
Right.
That would really appeal to the masses.
Yeah. Hey, Speaking of that, I had a guy comment on my Havasu video that was like, "Is that live scope? I hope not, because if it is, you suck."
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, "And you're a terrible fisherman." And I was like, "Well, it was, yes, live scope, because I didn't have a map card, and I was trying to figure out where the drop off was on the points. And I beat 200 guys in Florida without using it this week. So no, I don't suck, but thank you."
Ooh, yeah. Hope you're listening. Whoever you are out there.
Whoever you are.
Yeah.
Probably somebody I know.
So, Flo, do you get a lot of haters when it comes to that? I mean, you don't.
Yeah,
have
it's social media.
It had to be on Instagram.
Yes, social media. Yeah, I usually do pretty well in events, kind of like Garrett. So I'm like, whatever. You know, if it
I
helps
don't care.
win,
I
it
mean,
helps
and
me
honestly,
win,
like,
you know.
I mean, I can't count. It's not that many fish that I've caught on active target or live scope in an event to matter. So I mean, I really don't use it much anyway. So whatever.
Yeah. I
prefer not to.
I do a lot of perspective, not forward facing. I do a lot of
Do you?
perspective, even in deep water, like up to 10 feet of water. I have
I need to work on my bracket to where the perspective actually works.
Right.
Because it's just like pointing to the ground, and I don't really like it.
You were just working on yours, Seth.
That's because I broke one, so I made 2 more for the Kissimmee event, just in case I broke another one. But yeah, it's like you can make them out of PVC piping, and they're able to tilt forward. It costs like $21, but not including like the ram mount and a couple other things.
Right.
But yeah.
My
I just
first one was done with PVC. Yeah.
Yep. Super simple.
Seth actually started his YouTube channel. I would be able to say, "Hey, go check it out on his YouTube channel."
Yeah.
But
I've got one making one on YouTube actually.
Oh, go see! You lost on the opportunity, Seth. Everyone, go over to Garrett's page.
I have people watch it every once in a while. Like, so how's this working out? I'm like, well, I don't actually use that anymore, but it did work when I used it. So I'm using the Fisher mount. The I forget what the brand is, but Dugout sells them.
Okay.
It works pretty good. I like it.
Yeah,
I've done some modification to that because I do that to everything I own.
When I first started out content creation, a lot of the stuff was DIY, just because I was out of work for 10 months of my life.
Right.
I was like, if it's not DIY, it's nothing at all. And so I kind of got I cut my teeth. My first video, it has like 60,000 views. My first video, and it was like the kayak crate, the ultimate kayak crate. Don't forget ultimate. The ultimate kayak crate with rod holders, and so it's just interesting. But now I'm like, okay, I don't have time to start, flare out PVC tube and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I just need to get myself upgrade, but I actually have a job now, so I get it. Sometimes life kicks you in the arse, and you're down to DIY. And so
some of my best videos are the how-to stuff. I mean, I've got some videos with the rigging on, like the foot steering and stuff like that. So that's some of my better ones. The Newport review video, I think it's like 40,000 views. That's definitely my biggest.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Just gotta stick with it. And you just never know what YouTube's gonna send. Which is like,
you get the right one, and it's like, why? That worked out.
Well, what always happens, especially in shorts, you're like, the one that you want to go, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. It doesn't go. The dumbest thing you ever posted in your entire life, they will send it to the moon, and you will get thousands of subscribers that want nothing to do with fishing, and then you wreck your channel. That's usually what happens. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Steven Sturgeon says negative comments count for YouTube the same as positive. You know what? 100%.
Oh, I agree.
Sure. Yeah. Steven also said, I made one of your cue guards for my Frontier 12. Works great. Yep. That's another uber popular video I did. Is and unless he's talking about yours, Garrett, but I did it.
No, I didn't do one.
Yeah. Made it out of Kydex for pretty cheap. So, and Chad Hoover says he just wears a bikini in a video. So my goodness, this is going dark.
I've got
really fast.
That's the one that gets the shares.
She keeps suggesting that I do that, and I'm like, I don't think it's going to work as quite as good as the Instagram models, but
it'll have like 5,000 shares and like 2 likes.
Yes. Look at this guy. Everybody's gonna be sending it to their buddies like, look at this clown. Nobody's like it's gonna have like 20 seconds of watch time on it and like 100 shares.
Yeah, click out of it real quick.
Yeah.
Wolf of Walmart's on. I will see him this upcoming weekend. Yeah. If you guys, I know you guys aren't, you don't live around here, but there is a big Columbus Fishing Expo taking place in Columbus. I'll be there on the 9th. So if you're around the Columbus area this weekend, head over there. I'm going to meet Wolf for the first time. It's going to be a good time. So I'm excited about that. All right, let's switch gears here and talk about the juice. Let's talk about the hardware you picked up in Kissimmee, because I did not fish in. However, Seth and Garrett, you both did. So let's just go back and forth. Since we just made Garrett talk for 20 minutes straight. Seth.
Yeah.
How did you do?
Yeah. All right. So let's start with the ending first, and then we'll work our way up from there. Right. We'll work from the bottom. So I ended like 90th, but there's a way I got there. All right. There's a methodical way that I got to 90th. So my original plan, which I had a day and a half of practice, I went out and I found some fish offshore in like 10 feet of water, and some good ones.
That's where you made a mistake.
Yeah. Right. Right. I knew the thing is I knew they were moving up. I knew they were moving up. Historically, 2001 Bassmaster event there. Dean Rojas had a 45-pound bag, the biggest one-day bag ever. The same conditions leading up. I knew they were going to move up. Historically, I've never fished the Kissimmee chain this time of year, although so I don't have like certain flats or spawning areas that other locals typically have. But so I had an offshore bite, and then on the final day, half day that I had, I found a pocket and I found my first spawning bass in there, and it just set up real nice. And before I left for that evening, I had to be off by 4. I found 3 fish that were 6 pounds and over, all within like 100 yards of each other. So I'm thinking, all right. And this spot's like a quarter mile from my offshore spot where I can easily go out there and catch a few fish offshore. And some of them were like 17, 18 inches. So I'm feeling pretty good. I have 3 fish that are like 22 inches and above on beds. So I'm like, all right, there's 66 inches if I land these, and I just need some average fish. And I'm looking at like mid 90s. So I'm like, all right, this is a solid for a day and a half. Like I'm okay with this, because I guess how should I say this? My ultimate, like I go into this event not really for points or anything like that. I want to place high. Like I want a top 10 is essentially, and I want to try to win. I know there's guys like Chris Mitchell, one of my buddies, Sherman Bishop, a guy I know really well. We fished against each other a ton in Florida. These are 2 guys that got top 3. They know these lakes. So I'm like, all right, I need to be upper 90s on the first day. And then second day, maybe there'll be more fish that move into beds, or I'll just go fish some spots on Kissimmee chain or Lake Kissimmee. So long story short, let's get to the day 1. I go in there, I go to the first fish, which was like a 7-pounder. It was the one that was most locked on a bed. I go to cast in, but before I do, there's some fish busting behind me on some bait. So I cast in, I catch one right away. That's like 14 inches. So I'm like, all right, perfect, throw 14. Second cast, I cast on the bed, and she starts walking. I can't see, by the way. It's like 7:30 in the morning. Water's a little dark, so I just know where the bed is. She walks away with it. I set the hook. I got her on. She's big. We're in like 1.5 feet of water. She jumps and spits the hook. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. But the thing is, I wasn't too beat up about it, because this is the first morning of day 1, and she was locked on a bed. I'm like, I barely had her on. I had her on for like 15 seconds. So I got a chance to come back either later that day or even day 2, potentially catch her. Well, she never came back, by the way, in either one of those days.
They never do.
It's unbelievable. And about 10 minutes after that, a guy pulled into my smallest bass that I had on a bed of the 3 big ones, which was about like a 6-ish, and he caught it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, because I was putting around and I was changing things out, and I'm like, well, that really sucks. I lost mine. He caught that one, so I moved to the biggest one, which ended up being.
Hold up, how far are you? You said it was all within 100 yards.
So it's a cove. So I'm on one side of the cove, and the other guy had to stay away from me. So I missed this one, and in the meantime, he snuck around and got to the other side where he knew another bed was, and we were the only 2 people in there. So unfortunately, he caught that one right in front of me after I just lost one right in front of him. So it was a double whammy. So I moved to my bigger one, and I couldn't see it in person. I put perspective mode on. It was a male and a big female. She was just over 8 pounds. Ended up catching her on a glide bait, because they would not literally eat anything else. And it's hard to see the bait on perspective when they're in the bed and there's 2 fish. And they ended up just attacking a glide bait, and I caught her, which was awesome. But it already messed up my plan. The fish that he caught, I couldn't catch. It didn't really show. It was like roaming around. And then the one I lost never came back. So I had to go offshore. The offshore fish were gone. And my whole plan was just like screwed from the beginning. I ended up the first day, I think, with like 84, 85 inches. Good for
you had a beast on there, though. You had
a
23.75
and a quarter, 23 and a quarter, 8-pounder. But the plan was already messed up because I didn't have those other 2 fish. So moving into day 2, and I know I'm a little long-winded on it, but the end of day 1, there was probably close to 10 bass that were over 5 pounds that were just roaming the banks. I could see them with my eyes. I could see them in perspective mode. And they were just, and the small males had pulled up to beds. And I'm like, man, it's just a matter of time to these big ones just pull up to a bed and I'm able to catch them. And I was throwing like glides on them. They were chasing glides. I was throwing all kinds of soft plastics, and they didn't want any of that while they were roaming the banks. So I thought going into day 2 with like 85 inches, somewhere around there, that I needed a really big bag. I needed 100 inches to get in. So I'm like, I can either go fish Lake Kissimmee, where I know there's some decent fish, but I don't know that I can hit 100 inches. Or I can go back to this spot in the morning and hope, because it's a warming trend, like super warm, that these big girls are going to pull up to one of the many beds that the males are on. And I went there in the morning where the beds were. And unfortunately, the big girls didn't move up. They were still cruising. 1 or 2 were really close to locking in, but they were just a little spooky. And they would just swim out, and I just couldn't get them to bite because they wouldn't stay put. They would always leave. And then to end it all, to wrap this up, I caught, yeah, thanks, Darren. I had 10 fish, right? But I only submitted 5 on the second day. And one of them was DQ'd because I caught the same fish the day prior, which I didn't know. But it didn't matter. So like, instead of getting in like the 40s, I got like 90 because I had like 17 inches DQ'd. So it's whatever. I'm not getting any money in the 40th place. But that was my event. So I like I swung for the fences day 1 to try to be in the top 10. It didn't work out. And just like the whole plan just imploded, which I typically don't do. Usually I have backup plans. But that was my situation. And that's why I got 90th in that event.
Out of how many? 225? 224?
223, yeah, 223.
Yeah, 223.
I mean, I was with 9 fish and not what I wanted to do, but it is what it is. But Garrett, let's hear more positive. I've heard of
so many duplicate bass. Like,
well, I heard
in the past year, I've had a duplicate bass DQ'd in monthly. I had one DQ'd in the
10 this year.
Oh, did you?
What?
In
21.
10. Ooh,
you did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
luckily I still won.
Well,
it happens. It happens
isn't there
more often than people think. Say what?
Twin bass? Isn't that a thing? I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. For anyone listening, I'm being completely
you're poking. You're poking.
Exact same scale patterns.
Interesting. No, don't get me started. It's wild.
DQ and fish, like the duplicate fish is that's a tough thing, because it's kind of like the whole, 100% to find somebody guilty. I mean, to take a fish away that they very fairly caught, you have to know. I mean, like, you can't be like, I'm pretty sure. You got to know. I mean, like, you got to know that, like, that was definitely the same fish. And, I mean, and in a bed fishing situation, it's a lot easier to do. Yeah. I mean, chances are, if it was caught in the same spot, it looks the same, like.
I went back and looked. It was the same fish, but I didn't know it was the same because there's just beds everywhere.
I didn't know mine was the same fish. I caught it at 6:30 in the morning or whatever time lines was in. It was still it was dark when Chad got us started fishing that tournament. Like, I would throw my buzz bait and I couldn't see the bank, and it would hit the rocks. It would like ding, 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 and that's how I knew when it was in the water. Like, I couldn't see anything. And I caught a 21 and a half or something that morning on that buzz bait. Well, literally like 9 hours later at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm 100 yards from there throwing a glide bait, and a 21 hits it. And I'm like, dude, that's what I needed to cinch this thing.
100 yards.
And then I get to and then it was like a cove, and it was like on that side of the cove and then the other side of the cove.
That's some distance though.
It is some distance. And I get to the weigh in, and Austin comes up and gives me a hug. He's like, man, I didn't want to be the one to do it to him. Like, do what? He's like, oh, we had to DQ your fish because it's a duplicate. And I was like, are you serious? Like, I had 103 inches today.
Bust some heads.
Yeah, that's the worst. Yeah.
And you still
won. So I ended up tying the guy in second place, but I had big fish, so I still won. But yeah.
Let's go.
It worked out.
It worked out.
It worked out.
So I have this thing. Let me know, Garrett, what your thoughts on this on bed fishing. I love bed fishing, and it's like one of my strengths. That and live scope with the jerk bait are like my top two. And I feel it's like John Cox and then me. No, I'm just kidding. But it's I just love bed fishing, man. Like I feel like I'm pretty solid at it. So I have, and if anyone that turkey hunts, they might think this is similar. But I was thinking about this the other day. If you get on a bed fish, I watch the pros, and they know more than I do. They're professionals. But if I find a fish that has a bed and I get there before the sun is up and before like the lighting gets really good, I would say with almost 100% certainty, I'm able to get that fish to bite on like the first cast at that bed, whether it's the male or the female. Sometimes I catch the male first, toss it, and then the female will bite right away with low lighting. And the way like turkey hunting, if you can get in near the tree, at least when I used to live in Pennsylvania, we would do the Easterns. If you're able to get near their tree that's roosting and get your decoys up where they can see the decoys by the time the sun comes up, I feel like you have a really good shot at getting that tom to like fly down to your decoys and get a shot at them. And I feel like it's the same way with bed fishing. Like if you can get in there before the sun and the lighting comes up and you're able to get a cast in there, she picks it up like every time. And I'm talking about big ones. Like I've caught, like this one was, well, I lost it, but it was around like 7 pounds. Then a few minutes later, 20 minutes later, I caught the one that was 8. And have you noticed that, Garrett, at all, where you get into those bedfish early, or do you wait till the sun comes up where you can sight fish them and put that bait like in a certain spot in that bed, or where are you at with that?
I mean, I haven't had that many opportunities where I've known where a bed was going to be before.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The sun came up. I don't usually have like some beds marked in practice or whatever. But I mean, obviously they can't, there's no shadows. They can't see you. They're not really, there hasn't been boat traffic yet. So they're just, their guards down, that early.
And
that definitely a lot easier.
It leads me to something else. So I lost one in a Bassmaster event on the Harris chain in 2022. It was the biggest bass I've ever seen on a bed. I had a bunch of beds marked. It was a single day event. Did you happen to fish that one? 2022 Harris chain. It was an open.
Was it a
do you have a? No, it was a Bassmaster one. Do you have a?
Oh, okay. No, I didn't fish that.
Do you have a check for it back there? No,
yeah, for one of your 17 checks you had behind you.
So it was.
I took that year off from Bassmaster.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So it was like a 12-pounder. And I know people listening are like, okay, they're all 12s. But no, like this was the biggest bass. It looked like a different species. It was like a carp laying there.
Right.
And I went in and I did the same exact thing I did in this Bassmaster event. I cast it in, and I think lines in was like 6:30. It was like mostly dark. And first cast in there, she bites it. I threw a Senko with like a little single wide gap hook. It was a 2-aught. And I had her on for like 20 seconds. She jumped. The third time she jumped, she spit it out. And that fish haunts me. I got like 20th in that event. And it was the biggest fish I've ever had on in my life that would have called like giants. So this leads me to a new segment, Darren. It's sponsored by whoever you want it to be sponsored by Darren Wendell.
Oh, there we go.
It's called Can't Get You Out of My Head. So that fish haunts me. I have some others from the Hobie event last year too. It's just awful.
So I got one I lost on a chatterbait at the TOC at Caddo that haunts me.
All right, yeah, that's what I'm going to ask. What fish in your career still, like when you lay in bed at night and you're like, dude, if I would have caught that one, would have changed like what? It's like the biggest loss.
I don't know.
Get out of your head.
Yeah, there's always a couple that would have made a big difference in a tournament. That one's probably the most in a tournament, just because I actually sucked that entire tournament. I had a great practice and it got cold, and for some reason all my cypress trees turned into icicles and the fish left. I don't know what happened. But I'd gone like 3 hours that morning. I hadn't had a bite yet. Threw up next to this one cypress tree out in the middle of the lake, and one hits it and comes up and jumps, and it's like the biggest bass I've ever seen. And it comes up and jumps again and spits out the chatterbait, and I was like, oh, well, that's how this thing's going to go, and that was kind of how the rest of my tournament went. It was bad. But I have a feeling, had I landed that fish, well, I know so, that it would have changed my mindset for the rest of the day, you know, and I probably would have, you know, I'm sure that I would have just put in a limit and all that good stuff, but
yeah, those big ones.
Because mindset's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of this is you know, staying engaged.
Wrecked when you lose a 12-pounder.
Oh yeah.
And when you get a kicker, when you get one that's 2 feet long, you get that
you
kicker,
get a big one early. It's like, okay,
dude,
game
you
on.
only have to average out. Like, you don't have to catch a lot, you know. And if you catch a second one over 20, it's like makes things a lot easier.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
So I got a comment from Sly Fox Fishing. Says, Darren, I think you and Wade, you and Garrett have a special spot on Gunnersville. Y'all caught a bass off the same dock a few weeks apart.
Really?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. So I'll be honest with you, Garrett. I didn't know. I wasn't. It's one of those scenarios where I was watching your videos or anything and went to the same spot. Right. I was just running that area, and so we had that's a special dock. That's a whole special line.
Well, they were in there that week.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I won the Challenge Series championship off that one.
You won a lot of hardware that weekend.
Yeah.
Is that the weekend where you brought like 17 pieces of metal home?
I don't know about that, but I did pretty good. Challenge Series AY, Challenge Series championship, and then second place in the Invitational and the Trail Series championship.
Yeah. That's a good week.
It was a good weekend.
That's a good week.
Solid. Yeah, that's solid.
So KBF in October has been good to me.
Well, yeah, because mine was it was November, a few weeks later. Right. I was still there. Oh my gosh. I mean, I never caught so many dock fish in my entire life. It was a blast. An absolute blast.
Right.
Take us home, Garrett. Tell us about fifth place. How did you do it? Walk us through the play-by-play.
Coordinates, everything.
Everything, all the juice. Now I was excited about this one. After leaving Havasu, and I checked the weather for Kissimmee, and it's been like frigid cold for Florida for weeks. And then we're having that big of a warming trend. I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be really good. I'm like, practice is probably still gonna be tough for some people. And I told some buddies of mine, because after a couple of days of practice, like everybody was struggling in practice. My first day of practice, I caught 2 fish. And I mean, I knew I wasn't that worried about it. I knew it was cold and it was going to warm up. I mean, the fishing was not even remotely going to be the same come tournament time. But one of the fish that I caught that first day was 19 3/4 inches and 6.8 pounds.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, so most people say football. This one was more like a basketball. I mean, it was literally, it looked like one of those Havasu brim that you see, this big shell cracker, but it was a bass. It was bizarre. But I fished I think I practiced 3 or 4 different lakes during practice. I was down there for 4 days, and I've been down there before. So I fished Kissimmee twice in KBF tournaments in January, February. So I had 2 lakes that I'd done well in before. I went and checked. I got one lake always does pretty good, but it usually gets kind of crowded. So I tend to try to save that one for like my Friday practice, so that I don't want to show up on Wednesday, bust 103 inches and get excited, and then get there on Saturday and everybody's, burned it down.
Yep.
So I went in there Friday, and I think I caught like 12 fish or something Friday. 3 or 4 of them were right at 18 inches.
All right.
And that was just running and gunning, throwing a spinnerbait. I mean, I was just moving around, Mach speed on the trolling motor. So I was like, okay, well, that's, I'd had one other really good day. I actually went to Lake Jackson one day and caught, 20-something fish. I think it was on like Wednesday or something. But all of my better bites, I was throwing a swim bait, a weightless swim bait, and all of my better bites got loose, and I didn't get a good look at them. So I didn't really know what I had there. So I knew kind of what this other lake typically had in it. So I was like, well, I'll just get in with the crowd. I mean, I went there for practice, and like, there's a bunch of people there, and all the people you expect to be doing well are at the lake. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to just get in line. Turns out there was a lot of people on the lake. I think there was probably 50 of the field was on that one lake. I mean, the ramps. I got there an hour early, and all the ramps were already full. I think the ramp I went to, there was already 15 people there.
Oh wow!
An hour early. I'm like, what? I'm like, what's wrong with people? Why are you getting here so early? Apparently, they wanted parking spots. I wanted sleep, but it didn't matter. And there's so the way the lake sets up, there's a couple different ramps, and there was actually a ramp closer to where I wanted to fish, but that ramp was there was people parked out on the road, and I just didn't feel like dealing with it. So I went down to a different ramp, and I'm headed up, to the area that I was wanting to fish, and I get pulled around the corner, and there's like a boat sitting where I wanted to fish, another boat sitting where I wanted to fish, another, because everybody's just sitting there waiting for lines in, and there's there's like this huge pad field, and there's like 20 kayak lights just like ding 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 all over, and I was like, well, this is going to be an interesting day.
Yeah, it is.
I was like, well, I'll just start right here, I guess. So I started on a little line of Kissimmee grass that I had no intentions of fishing. Put the power pole down, sat there for 20 minutes. Lines in comes up. I fished down it, and there's like a little cut that goes to a boathouse in this Kissimmee grass. And I throw my spinnerbait over there. Boom, 18-incher. I was like, well, that's cool.
Oh, game on.
About 3 more casts. I throw it over there, and I go to adjust my throttle, and as it's sinking, another one hits it. Set the hook,
it's just fluttering down on the fall.
It's just fluttering, and he hits it, 18-incher. And I was like, holy cow. Fish around a little bit back, get to the dock. There's like some pads next to the dock. Flip over there, and I'm kind of working the spinnerbait through the pads and letting it kind of drop and stuff. And like you can see, just come on, nails it. 18-incher. So I got 3 over 18 in
like a half hour.
Minutes.
Oh my gosh!
No, like 16 minutes.
16 minutes.
Yeah. 16 minutes.
Crazy. You weren't even planning on being there.
No, I had no intentions of fishing that spot.
You would never fish there if it wasn't for a million people back in the
no. They were in my way everywhere else. So anyway, so I finally, people start clearing out, and I ease around the corner, and I catch a couple small ones where I was planning on going, and I go deep into the pads, and there's just like one little row of brush, I guess. It's not really trees, but it's wood. And I'm kind of easing along, and I'm friends with Guillermo Gonzalez, and I see him kind of back behind me, kind of easing back that way. And I was literally like, I had fished for an hour and a half at this point after those 318s, and like I hadn't had a bite. Like it had gotten calm. The birds were up in the trees, like nothing was going on. And like right before I get to that bank and I saw him, there was like a couple birds came down, got in the lake. I saw a heron chase something, and like all the birds started singing. Like a little breeze kind of started blowing, and I was like this. I almost hollered. I was like, "Hey, G, they're about to bite," And I got to that wood, and I threw that spinnerbait over there, and one nailed it. I fight it up to the boat. Of course, the drag on that SLX is absolutely the worst about just randomly backing itself off.
Huh.
So I'm sitting here reeling, and it's going around the tree, and I'm just reeling, nothing, trying to figure out how to tighten the drag. Going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Get in the boat. It's 21 and a half inches.
Ooh, it's a good one.
I was like, dude, that's what I need. I put the power pole down. I get done taking the picture. I make a few more casts. There's like, it's probably about 100 foot wide, this one little section. And I'm sitting in the middle where I caught the fish. And I throw to the right side of it, and one smokes it, and I missed him. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was a giant.
That was it.
And I throw, Cinco over there, and nothing. So I'm still sitting on my power pole, right? And by this time, G had come around. He was going to just he was headed somewhere else. He was just going to say hey as he rode by. And I picked my spinnerbait back up, and I flipped it over to that tree, and that fish came back and nailed it again, one that I just missed. set the hook. It goes jumping. It jumps on this side. It jumps on this side. And I get it in the net. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. And G's like, well, that was fun to watch. And I put it on the board, and it's 21. So I got my 3/18s, and then I just caught a 21.5 and a 21, literally sitting in the same spot on pole. And I was like, I mean, this is going to be good.
It's gonna be a good day.
This is going to be good. I mean, it's hard.
Nothing but upgrades.
I'm leading the tournament. This is great. You know, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I've already got, I don't know what I had, 90 something, whatever all that added up to be. And so the rest of the day, I just kept throwing that spinnerbait, and I was just, working my way around. And it was like the fish were so fresh moving up to their beds that I was catching obvious fish on beds with a spinnerbait, because I would throw in there. Like, I had one spot, I threw in there, caught a 19, and I was like, that's going to help. And then I threw right back in there and caught a male, like in the exact same spot with the spinnerbait. So it was like, they were fresh enough that they were just hitting whatever. I mean, not whatever, because I mean, obviously everybody didn't have 99 inches, but they were hitting the spinnerbait. So that was my day one. I ended up with 8 fish over 18, I think, on day one. It was pretty wild. I ended up going in a little spot, catching like 10 17s on a Senko. I mean, I just caught a crap ton of fish that day. It was stupid.
Okay. So where are you sitting after day one?
4th.
Okay.
I think I was sitting in 4th because the 3 people ahead of me all broke 100.
Okay.
And that was my goal. Was like, I ended up that last 19 I caught. It was pretty wild, because like the 3/18s I caught within 50 foot of each other. The 2/21s I caught within 40 foot of each other. And then I'd gone in this other little area, and there was a little tree. I went by it, caught a 19, and then went just a little bit further into the pocket and caught another 19. So within 50 foot of each other, I caught 2 19s. But when I caught that first 19, I was like, oh, that's going to help a lot. And I forget, it had me at like 98 something. And I was like, man, one more good fish and I'll get 100. It's not always, 100 is obviously not always the goal, but when you start getting close to it, like that becomes the goal.
This becomes the new goal.
100 inches. Like 100 inches is like, that's always the goal. Like if you get 100 inches, like that's a phenomenal day.
Yep.
I've only done it like 3 times in a tournament. So like if I could break 100, that's going to be, something. And that next one hit, and I mean, I'm getting to the boat, and I get it in the net, and I bring the thing, and I was like, oh, thank you, God. Like that's the fish I needed for 100 inches. And cause I mean, it was a big 19, and I put it on the board, and I was like, okay, I'm like, you're smaller than I thought you were. Cause it was, it was just a big, healthy fish.
Mm-hmm.
And look it up, I'm like 99.75. Like,
of course.
You gotta be kidding me. I'm like,
squeeze out a quarter inch in there somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
It's when you start looking through all of your pictures to see if maybe you like missed a quarter somewhere. You're like, come on,
touching the line.
No. But no, I mean, I always ask for everything I can get out of them. I mean, if it touches, I'm gonna ask for it, and they can tell me no.
It adds up, man. When you 5 fish, a quarter inch, you're looking at
that's a big deal by the end of the week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen
especially
a lot
an
of
event
people
like this.
I've seen a lot of people submit pictures, and you can look, and you're like, you're missing a quarter of an inch just by looking at a picture.
Oh yeah.
Where they didn't, they didn't lay the tail right or whatever. And you're like, oh man, like you half tried, you would have got some extra inches.
Mm-hmm.
But oh well. So anyway, that was day one, sitting in 4th. Day 2 comes around, and it was a lot slower on the spinnerbait. I think I caught a couple small ones earlier, and so I fished my little spot, and I ended up breaking off a fish. Wasn't a big one, but I was throwing braid to fluoros, and it got wrapped around a tree, and I'm trying to hold pressure, and it was probably like 16 inches, ends up breaking my line on a Senko. So it snaps up like a good section of my leader, and I was like, I probably don't really need a leader. So I just cut the leader off and went like 30-pound straight braid, and was like, I'll just jack them. And because I was Texas rigging, it'd been different if I was wacky and I had a little exposed hook, but I was Texas rigging, so I'm like, I'll just jack them with 30-pound. And yeah, I went behind where my trees were and eased back in there, and it was pretty still that morning, and it was foggy, but the water was, it was only a foot and a half deep back there. It was super shallow, but you could see like certain areas. You would actually see like the fish move. You couldn't see it because it's black water, but you'd see like the ripple or whatever. You just kind of see it go around in a circle. Flip the Senko over there, and boom, you caught a couple of 18s back there doing that. Lost one that may or may not have bumped me up a place or two when it was all said and done. And then I just kept fishing. I was catching a bunch of fish and just was not getting the size the second day. And then there toward the end of the day, I went in this one little pocket, and there was some fish moving, and like it couldn't have been more than a foot of water up by some reeds, and they were chasing. And I flipped the Senko over there, and like I got one of those big boils on my Senko, and I was like, "Oh, that was a huge fish!" And I'm like, I was just hoping it had it. I just saw the boil, and I was like, set the hook, and it ended up being a 21 and a half.
Nice.
So that bumped me up a bunch. Fished around in there, nothing else. I came back out, and it was like there was some guys out fishing the pads, and they were kind of having a rough go of the tournament. You could hear them kind of talking amongst themselves. It's like, oh, if I get another fish, I'll have a limit, or I think I can break the 40s if I do this, or like stuff like that. And I heard them both like. They both hooked into a fish. I think they both ended up losing. Maybe one of them caught it. One of them was like, "Oh my gosh, that was a 21," and the other was like, "I just caught a 20." And then I'm like, so like, it was almost like you could feel like the fish had moved up like at that moment. Like everybody was like catching them in the pads. And so I went around the corner out in front of that little pocket I was in, and you could literally see the fish like just darting around in this area. And I threw the spinnerbait over, and I had a big one, nailed the spinnerbait and missed it. And then ended up catching a couple small ones on the spinnerbait. And it was, and then I had one more that like blew up, and it was like, and I was like, ooh, that was a big fish over there. Threw the spinnerbait over, and I'm having to kind of feather it to get it to go real slow past where that fish was, and it smokes, and it was another 19. And that's what put me at, I guess it was like 95 inches or something.
Okay.
For that second day. So that was the story.
Sounds like fishing heaven over there where you were.
Yeah.
That was not my experience where I was.
Yeah.
It sounded like everyone over there was just having a great time. I saw the pictures on Bassmaster. Everyone's smiling. Like, this is the best time ever. We're all friends. We're all doing well.
We're all talking about the picture of Christine and Blake holding a fish at the same time.
Yeah. That's the exact one. They're like next to each other.
I knew that's what you were talking about. Everyone looked so happy. I'm like, yeah, I know what picture you're talking about.
Yeah, that's exactly the one. So it's a big old party where you guys were.
It's just a big old party. Well, people were fishing on top of each other. It was, I don't know how that many fish moved up. It could have very easily gone the other way, and everybody just cut each other's throats off.
Right.
And everybody had two fish, because like literally everywhere you fished, somebody else had like just fished it or was coming in right behind you. It was like
they're just moving so much it didn't matter. Yeah.
I've never had a tournament where I've had conversations with so many different people during the tournament.
Really, because you're so close.
Because and because there's so many people there, you don't like. It's not like you avoided people. Like normally, like if somebody was somewhere, you would never get close enough to them,
right,
to have a normal speaking conversation. But there's just so many people in and out that you're going down this bank and this person's coming this way, and you just chat for a while, and then you just kind of keep moving on. It's just,
Wow.
It was a weird. Yeah,
It is weird.
You know, it was like, this is not normal. Like, this is not. Usually, everybody's like, I'm not saying nothing, but like, and people are like, oh yeah, I missed the 21 over there. Oh, you know, because like,
it didn't really matter because they're just swimming everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're so confident they're going to catch one.
Yeah, there was
high
obviously
confidence.
like spots and dead zones,
Right.
but you know, there was quite a few spots that worked out pretty good. So
Man, sounds like a
it was
blast.
good enough that, yeah. Well, Steve Owens was wanting to fish the next day, and we were trying to decide what lake we were going to go to. And we were talking about going like down to Kenansville, or you know, one of those lakes you hear people talk about. And it's like people were like, "Well, you'd be kind of crazy not to go back to the lake that y'all were all fishing yesterday." And it's like,
right.
yeah, you're probably right. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, it got beat up for 2 days, but like, you're the only 3 people in the lake. Like, it could be really good.
Really good.
We went back and we had a pretty good time. We all caught fish. I think I ended up with like a 19 and a half, a 20, a 21 and a half.
Yeah.
Lost a
that's good day.
giant. So I ended up with like 97 inches. Just fun fishing the next day.
Fun fishing next day.
Of all the folks that fished around you there on day 1 and 2, did you finish the highest of those? Was there anyone else that beat you out at that location?
Well, yeah, the guy that won it, I think, was fishing close to us, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not
Sherman Bishop.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know Becky, that was leading it on day 1, was fishing. I didn't know this, but was fishing like literally right on the other side of the reeds from where I was fishing.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, like, there was several people kind of the same little.
I'm not going to put it on blast where Becky was, so people don't know, but they kind of they did her dirty on the her article. I felt like, because they kind of gave
really.
it away.
I didn't get a chance to read it.
They didn't say the name or anything, but if you know the area, like the lakes that are involved, stuff she said, they kind of gave away her location. And I'm like, I wonder how many folks are gonna show up.
I don't think there was a lot of ramp or lake jumping on day 2. I didn't feel like there was any more.
Yeah, because if you're there day 1 setting them up, and then you show up the next day and there's double the people, that really stinks.
I don't think there was, because I have had tournaments where, you know, a couple of people wreck them pretty good, and it's all of a sudden like ramps full, and you're like, what do you? I mean, really? Like, oh, we had a terrible day at so and so lakes. We're here. I'm like,
we decided to all
we
come
had a
here.
great day, so why don't y'all go somewhere else? You know? I'm like, y'all are so far out of the money. Don't. Y'all go fish over there. You know. But it happens. I mean, you can't blame somebody for wanting to go find somewhere that the fish are biting.
Of course. Well, congrats, man! Awesome finish.
Thank
5th place, 220 some people. That's
5th.
Yeah. So I've been hard at a Bassmaster trophy for a little while. Like, that's obviously a blue trophy is the goal. I've got a bunch of black ones, which that didn't start coming till end of last year. I mean, where I actually started like winning tournaments and not just, you know, top 10s.
Right.
And a blue one's kind of always been the goal. The very first kayak tournament that I ever fished was a Bassmaster event on Lake Eufaula, like 4 years ago. And I got on a shad spawn bite. That was when they were doing their little 1-day tournaments. And I got on a shad spawn bite that morning. I caught 4 fish in like 16, 17 minutes. And then the bite died, because that's how shad spawn works. But I ended up finally catching one little 13-incher offshore on the ledge that got me my limit, and came in 4th place and missed the 3rd place blue trophy by 3/4 of an inch. In my very first one.
You've had the itch ever since.
And
well, that was the one that sucked me back into tournament fishing, because I hadn't tournament fished before that in probably 10 years. I used to boat fish some, doing like the obviously like your local club, you know, trail, and then like the state level type stuff. But you know, I got into kayak fishing a couple months before that, and we had taken a fun trip up to Eufaula camping. And I don't know if it was because I was in that area and Facebook knew I was in that area and I fished and I saw it, or if maybe I saw a paper ad for it. but I saw where Bassmaster was having a kayak series event on that lake in like a month or two from there, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know like kayak bass tournaments were a thing. And I was like, dude, like I love fishing Lake Eufaula. Like I'm totally going to come up here and fish that tournament. And came in 4th place and was like close to, you know, a blue trophy. And I was like, dadgum. So, you know, I've missed it there. Lake Gunnersville last year, I came in 4th place and I missed the blue trophy by just a little bitty bit. And then at Caddo Bistino last year, I think I came in 8th after having like a 100-inch day the first day. And I only got 2 big bites the next day and didn't quite stay up where I was. But so, yeah, I've been close a couple of times. So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, you'll get it.
I'm getting sucked in as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, it has a way of doing that. It's very
It is. I can already tell I'm going to be.
Yeah.
I'm doing more tournaments this year than I've ever done in my entire life in 1 year, and so slowly.
There's some. I mean, not something. It's the feelings that you get. Like I filmed myself as soon as I caught that 8 after I missed one in this event and watched the guy across the little inlet catch it, and it's like it's almost like an emotional. Like, dude, it's the feelings you get when you catch them. Well, you were catching them all day, Garrett, so it was probably the same all day. You just had
constant feelings.
It was a high all day.
Yeah. But when you succeed, and then like the lows of losing, like it's just there's nothing else besides like playing sports back in high school. It doesn't make like there's nothing that makes me feel like that right now. I just love it.
Right.
Like I can't get that feeling doing anything else.
You can go to Lake Havasu and catch 3 fish in 2 days and get your butt handed to you, and then be like, let's go to Florida, and then, you know, almost win the dang thing. So it's just the way, you know, tournament fishing goes sometimes.
That's right.
But it's been a fun ride. I mean, you know, I keep doing the challenge series. That's been good to me.
So are you going? Where's the next Bassmaster one? Is that Dale Hollow?
Yeah, I think the championship is before that, which will be
right. Yeah, I'll see you there, Garrett.
Yeah, so I'll be there.
That should be good too. The time of year, that should be just like last year at Bassmaster.
So yeah, so funny enough, last night I had dinner with Chris Johnston when I was down in Kissimmee. I was headed to McDonald's to get some dinner. And I saw the hibachi place next door, and I was like, that sounds a lot better than McDonald's. So I whipped in there, and as I parked, like, there's this truck sitting there, and I was like, that's funny. Like, I guess this is – and my other buddy was pulling me. I'm like, I guess this is where the pros eat. So I go walk in, and I'm like – I told him, I'm like, man, I was like, bro, you're a long way from home. And he said, well, it's frozen up there. We had to come down and get some sun. So we kind of chatted for a minute, and I told him I was there for the Bassmaster event, and he kind of had some questions, you know, because he'd gone and fished another lake that day, and he was like, we only caught like 2 fish. He's like, how many fish did you catch today? And I was like,
30 pounds.
Yeah. I'm like, well, I had 20. I think my buddy had
2 as well.
20 fish.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So there was only 3 of them at the table. So when I got my food, I walked over and was like, y'all mind if I sit with you? So I chatted up with them for a little while, but that was fun.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I look forward to hearing all these, hearing the download on all these things. Should be a good time. If you both
I
place
got
in the top 5, have you back on.
Hey, top 10 walks across the Bassmaster stage, classic stage.
I know. I fished one before, and it was at Lake Russell 2 years ago. The one that Ike and Ellie fished with us.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize at the time that was a herring lake, and that herring lakes, like if you find them here one day, that might not be where you find them the next.
Right.
So in practice, I found a couple points, and I was catching like some 18-inch, like 19-inch spots on the A-rig, and I was like, dude, this is freaking awesome. And then the next day, I can't remember if I was able to finally grind out a limit, but it ended up being one of those tough deals. Later on, somebody's like, well, you know, they just go randomly from point to point. And I was like, no, I didn't know that.
I know that. Did not know that.
Like, I don't fish this type of lake. I had no idea that that's how this went. I'm like, I sat there for all day, like, where's fish? But yeah, so
I'm excited.
it's a learning
I'm
experience.
excited for it.
Yeah,
It should be good. That was my point for bringing up Chris. Was he was like, fork should be really good that time of year. Like that should be really going off.
They had like, I don't know, what is it, 9 or 10 bags over 100 pounds last year, which was
about
the same week
time.
or week before.
Yeah.
So should be crazy.
It
You'll miss out, Darren. You coming, Darren?
Yeah, you know what? I'm
like
maxed out between family vacations and just a couple tournaments I'm doing. I don't know what you guys do for a living, but I don't have a lot of vacation. I'm gonna make a run full time here, and I've been talking about this for a while on my podcast. It's in the future. I have the date in mind. I'm not gonna say it out there because I don't want to get out there. But once I go full time, I'll be able to free up to come down to do these things and do them right, and actually get in the pre-fishing time I needed to get in. So, in time, it's not gonna be this year. Put it that way, but maybe the next year sometime. We'll see what happens. Well, Garrett, where do we find where are you? Where's Yakfin, and where's the platforms that you're typically on?
So Yakfin is yakfin.store.
Okay.
Is the website for that. And then Garrett Wade Fishing on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I don't post on Instagram as much as I do on the other ones just because it's just one more step and I get busy and forget, but I'm on there.
Heck yeah. No, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time tonight. SoFlo, thank you as well.
Yes, sir.
Just as a reminder, this episode we have a sponsor now for the show. I'm excited. It's brought to you by Kayak Bass Fishing, your go-to source for all things kayak fishing tournaments. So don't miss out on those monthly state challenges. Like I said earlier in the beginning of the show, I'm going to be fishing those starting in March, but yours might be going
you can get
right now.
He's going to show us something.
There it is.
That looks heavy.
One of those.
Angler of the Year,
Dude,
the challenge series. Congrats,
I have
man.
3 of these.
Yeah, I want to be able to say that someday. Not today.
Well, they've only got
some
4.
time.
They've done it 4 years, and I've won 3 of them.
That is awesome.
I don't know how that happened. Honestly, that's not a brag. I just I have no idea how that worked out, but I won it the very first year I fished it.
I don't even understand the AOA points half the time. So I'm like, I just know that I have them. I'm like, huh, interesting. And Chad explained it to me once. I'm like, you're speaking a different language to me. I'm just gonna keep fishing and see if I land somewhere.
Right.
That's my go at it right now.
It's like it's not going to change how hard I fish. So I guess
exactly. Yeah, I guess you'll notify me if I win something, and if I don't, then I came up short. Someone else beat me.
Yeah.
But
well, I came into the championship last year like 20 places behind first.
Oh wow!
And made it all up in the championship.
There you go. Yeah, that's what.
It can happen. You just got to go for it. Mm-hmm.
I think I came in with the most points you can to the championship. I just wasn't able to come down and fish the championship. Right. I did all the work over the previous months, but check it out, guys. Kayakbassfishing.com. Sign on up for that. I think it's one of those perfect things. If you're like, hey, I never tournament fished before from kayak, you want to dip your toes into it, go check it out. That's how
it's a great way to get started.
100%.
It's on your own time too.
On your own time, on your own body of water.
Any day of the month you want. Yeah, it's great.
Yep. So check that out. But thank you so much, Garrett. Thank you, SoFlo. I will see you guys next week on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You guys have a good one.
Take care.
All right. See you.